It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed. The room is silent. Everything around you is still. Yet inside your mind, something is happening. A memory appears. A conversation from years ago. Something you said. Something you wish you hadn't said. Something that still makes you cringe. You try to ignore it. You tell yourself it doesn't matter anymore. But somehow, your brain disagrees. The memory stays. Then another one arrives. A missed opportunity? A relationship that ended? A mistake you wish you could undo? Suddenly, you're no longer lying in bed. You're reliving moments that happened years ago. Moments that should have been forgotten, yet somehow remain alive? Why does this happen? Why does the human mind seem obsessed with the past? Why do certain memories refuse to let go? The answer begins with a simple truth. Your brain was never designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. For most of human history, survival was difficult. Danger existed everywhere. A single mistake could have serious consequences. Those who learned from their mistakes survived. Those who forgot them often didn't. As a result, evolution rewarded memory, especially painful memory. Your ancestors passed this survival system down through thousands of generations, and today, you still carry it inside your head. The problem is that the modern world is very different. Most of us are no longer running from predators, yet our brains continue operating as if every mistake is a threat. This ancient survival system constantly scans your past, looking for lessons, looking for dangers, looking for patterns. And that's where things become complicated, because your brain doesn't treat all memories equally. Think about the last time someone criticized you. Maybe it happened years ago. Maybe it was just a single comment. Now think about the compliments you've received. How many can you remember? For most people, criticism stays longer than praise. Psychologists call this the negativity bias, the tendency to focus more on negative experiences than positive ones. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. Forgetting a compliment had no real cost. Forgetting a threat could be dangerous. As a result, your brain gives painful experiences special treatment. It stores them more deeply. It revisits them more often. That's why an embarrassing moment from 10 years ago can suddenly appear in your mind as if it happened yesterday. The emotional impact remains, even when the event itself is long gone. But negativity bias is only part of the story. There's another reason certain memories keep returning. Your brain hates unfinished business. It dislikes unanswered questions. It dislikes uncertainty. When something feels unresolved, your mind keeps returning to it. Again, and again, and again. Perhaps you never received closure. Perhaps someone left without explanation. Perhaps you never understood why something happened. Your brain sees these situations as puzzles, and puzzles demand solutions. The problem is that some puzzles have no answers, yet the brain keeps searching anyway. It replays conversations. It analyzes decisions. It imagines different outcomes. Not because it's trying to hurt you, because it's trying to solve something. This is where regret enters the picture. And regret can be one of the most powerful emotional forces in human life. Regret creates a dangerous illusion. The illusion that if you think hard enough about the past, you might somehow change it. Of course you can't. But the brain often struggles to accept that reality. Instead, it creates alternative timelines, versions of life that never existed. What if I had said yes? What if I had said no? What if I had taken the opportunity? What if I had walked away? These questions can become endless because imagination has no limits. And imagination is often unfair. It creates perfect outcomes, perfect futures, perfect versions of ourselves. Reality can never compete with perfection, which is why regret can become addictive. The mind keeps returning to the same moment, not because it enjoys suffering, but because it keeps searching for a better ending. an ending that no longer exists. But interestingly, not all attachment to the past comes from pain. Sometimes it comes from happiness. Think about nostalgia, the strange feeling of longing for another time, a childhood memory, an old friendship, a school classroom, a summer afternoon. Over time, the brain edits memories. The difficult moments fade, the beautiful moments remain. Psychologists call this rosy retrospection, the tendency to remember the past more positively than it really was. As a result, yesterday begins to look better than today. And when the present becomes difficult, the mind escapes backward. But there is a hidden danger in nostalgia. You can become so focused on remembering life that you stop living it. The past becomes more real than the present, and the future slowly disappears. There is another reason people struggle to leave the past behind. Identity. Your identity is built from memory. Everything you believe about yourself comes from your experiences, your successes, your failures, your victories, your disappointments. Together, they create a story you call yourself. But sometimes that story becomes outdated. You change, yet your self-image doesn't. You continue seeing yourself through the lens of old experiences, old mistakes, old fears, old wounds. Even though the person who experienced those things no longer exists in the same way. Years pass, life changes, you grow. Yet part of your mind remains frozen in the past. Many people spend their lives fighting versions of themselves that disappeared long ago. The child who felt rejected, the teenager who felt insecure, the adult who made mistakes, and without realizing it, they become prisoners of memories. So, what does it actually mean to let go? Most people think letting go means forgetting. It doesn't. You don't have to erase a memory to move beyond it. You simply have to stop living inside it. The past exists to teach, not to imprison. Every experience you've ever had already served a purpose. The lesson was delivered. The experience happened. The moment passed. The only question that remains is this: will you continue carrying it, or will you continue growing beyond it? And if this video made you see your own memories a little differently, take a moment to reflect on the one memory you keep returning to. Ask yourself whether it's still teaching you something, or whether it's simply taking up space in your mind. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is one lesson your past taught you that changed your life? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that shape our lives, make sure to subscribe to The Human Lens and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep looking at life through a different lens.